going to talk about today is apparently there's a show on HBO that's probably been out for a while now that I'm hearing about it, about virgins. And
Mm.
what is being shown, and one of my clients is telling me about it, is the rigidness in which people are operating in that's keeping them from entering into relationships more deeply. And
Mm.
so he my client talked to me about the characters that were on the show, and this is like a reality show. These are real life virgins that are around probably 35, 40, to the
Mhm.
age where it's just like, what's going on here, that's keeping you from progressing. And it boils down to, as he was telling me about all the cases, just people having a rigidness, even the rigidness in the type of partner that they can be
Mhm.
sexual with, the rigidness in the way that sex needs to happen, the rigidness in the way they operate in relationship with people. We were joking. I had a party this weekend, and we were joking. Uh, I'm so sorry. Hold on. Let me say this as politically correct as I can. Uh, about some people who are highly intelligent, but nobody likes them, and so and so how it takes the two, being to be a good leader, being highly intelligent, but also being likable by people. And I think sometimes when we think about sex and sexuality, it's all of the things together. And so holding on to rigidness in kind of whatever area you are can be detrimental to you progressing forward, and it might be detrimental to the relationship. Okay, so that's what we're talking about. Go, Jessica, and then we
Yeah. So I really think we think that rigidness is like the character or
can.
the personality, which I don't necessarily feel that it is. I think rigidness is developed as an armor to protect fear.
Oh, that's good. That's good. That's good. I'm so excited.
In that
Okay.
I'm so scared. I need to control this. And now, mind you, I feel like I am totally speaking from experience because I signed that we'll wait until marriage thing. I read a book about a man who had his first kiss on the altar. And I'm like, okay. And I was like, because at the time I hadn't had my first kiss, and I was like, maybe that could be me. Like, what would that look like?
Mm-hmm.
Which one, knowing that I was 18 and wrote an entire paper on abstinence and that abstinence should only be taught in schools, and I'm now a sex therapist and be like, don't do that. That's so harmful. Um, that is the range at which we are operating with. I have
Mm-hmm.
experienced a lot of this, and I've
Mm-hmm.
learned the error of my ways, and that this is not helpful and
Mm-hmm.
excludes so much of the lived experience and honoring
Yeah.
everything that comes up for you. Because I think whenever, and this is kind of, I was talking to a client this morning about like, there's a difference between staying away from something and running towards something.
Mm-hmm.
And a
Mm-hmm.
lot of this, it's just don't have sex. Don't think about sex. Don't
Yeah.
look at sex.
Yeah.
Don't. It's
Yeah.
not a, and I mean, sometimes it has a, like, look at God, but like, that is not, sorry, friends, that is not an adequate substitute for a biological imperative. Like, we've got to figure out something else.
Oh gosh. So just funny thing. I was joking with somebody, and it's so funny. I hadn't heard that part of your story before, but I
Mm-hmm.
was joking with somebody, and I was like, I bet if you like survey half the sex therapists, most of us came out of some type of religious background that we were to the extreme the other way, so that like when we figure things out, it was
Mm-hmm.
that. And so many of us have done that. So it's just very interesting. So one of my mentors, she'll say out loud to parents, would you like your kid to be a sex therapist when you grow up? Don't talk about sex. That's how you get there. Like that, that's it.
Mm.
Don't talk about sex, you'll get there. Because then they'll go to the extreme. And that's kind of how I felt
Yeah.
like in my first human sexuality class, like, oh my God, nobody told me any of this. And so now I'm just trying to get all of the information. Like, no wonder my life isn't working out. Like, I didn't know any of this. And so, yes. Now, back to the rigidness part, I so agree that it's out of fear. It can be out of fear. All right. So before I start talking anymore, Mary Hannah, I want to give you the floor.
Yeah, yeah. Natalie, whenever you were talking about like all intelligence but no ability to like connect with others or like ability,
Hmm.
it made me think of like D&D of
Hmm.
like high intelligence plus 10 intelligence and zero charisma or zero wisdom. But I think whenever too I try to talk to my clients about rigidness, I try to offer it to them as like their choice, right? Where it's like you can choose to be this rigid, but it will just mean that this is the reality that you're looking at. Is
Hmm.
that okay for you or not?
Hmm.
And if it's not,
Hmm.
then yeah, like let's dig into like what are these barriers keeping you from like what you really want.
Yeah. And I think because the rigidness is built out of protection, out of safety, kind of, I want my life to work this way.
Mhm.
And so oftentimes people don't understand how they've done all these things and it's worked in this area and it's hurting them in another area. And I think some people don't even realize it until we say it to them as a therapist, like, whoa, that's going a little far. Um,
Mhm.
Rigidness in your schedule, like a nighttime schedule, rigidness in that. And so if you can only eat dinner between 6 and 7 and only watch TV between 7 and 8 and you're in bed at 8:30, that, like, what does that allow for your evening? And I mean, I get it. I mean, I get it. I definitely have preached a sermon to myself that the nighttime routine dictates the morning routine, like that is. But there comes a time in life when you're going to have to take a step back and say, what's really important in my life? Where can I give? Where can I relax? And what does that relaxing the guidelines do for me? Will it possibly get me something that I've been longing for and haven't been able to figure out? All right, what else?
But I think the issue with that is there is this false belief that we can control, or that our one, there's a false belief that we know what's best for us, which is patently untrue. Like we do not know what is best for us in the majority of cases, actually. And so when we seek professional advice and you're like, oh no, I really don't want to do that, the person who is educated in your particular issue is telling you, try this, try this, try. Well, no, it's really this way. I mean, yeah, you can do that.
Right.
Why are we here? Why are you
Yeah.
paying me? So I think that there's a false belief that we believe what's best for us, and there's a false belief that like I can control the outcome, or I'm going to get this outcome if, and I've heard these ridiculous things, over 6 foot, 6 figures, blah, 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 like the dumbest crap of what the standards are, the requirements are for a relationship. And I ran into this a lot when I was a matchmaker, of people had these fully formed ideas of who they were supposed to be with and just needed me to find somebody that met that criteria.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, this is not dolls. You can't just pop them into an established narrative and like run with it.
Right. Right. Oh, that's so good. Okay. I feel like if I get on that pedestal, that I will never get off. So I'm gonna try my best not to go there, because I see it in so many relationships, and even after they've gotten married. Well, I want us to do this or travel around the world and do this. Did you ever have a conversation with your partner about what they wanted? And so they saw retirement on the couch, playing golf Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And you, like, did y'all ever have a joint conversation, or was it just I put this person into my life, my rigid
Or
life?
right. Or do you travel? Because they have these things like, I'm going to travel once I meet somebody. Honey, if you were a traveler, you would have been traveling. That is what travelers do. They get passports, they book flights, they go on
Right.
trips, regardless of whether or not they have somebody to go with them, because that urge is there.
Hmm.
You don't just magically change into a different person because you're partnered.
Oh, wow. Which then, because I've seen people do this, then they're blaming their partner that they're not who they want to be. You never were that person. And so, yeah. Okay, Mary Hannah, what else do you want to add to the conversation?
Yeah, and even just in the like general realm of rigidity, I have also found with my clients that like especially when it comes to sex, there is such a protectiveness and a fear that like what we're talking about that takes hold
Yeah.
because it's like when sex goes wrong, it goes really, really wrong. And it can feel like such a violation, right? Like even when like two consenting party members are in the situation, it can still
Mm-hmm.
like be a violation.
Yeah.
And so it's like I totally understand for some people of like that desire to like protect themselves. And also too, it's like a lot of the work that like we do is just figuring out how to establish like you are safe actually, and we can
Mm-hmm.
actually figure out ways to push you out of your comfort zone without making you feel like you are betraying yourself. And I think some people don't know where that point is for them necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
And so they have to like bundle it all up and say that none of it can be up for like changing.
Right. And I think I love saying this. I love saying this because so many times couples will come in and one party is like, I need my partner to change. And it's just like, no, honey, you're the one who has to change. I'm so sorry. So sorry. And so then I love saying the line, if you can't change, you can't expect your partner to change. Like it can't be, I'm gonna be here because I'm perfect and my life works for me and they have to change the shoe to fit me. It's
Well, and it's a lot of the times it's the dynamic between the two.
Mhm.
It's how those aspects of self are influenced and or not
Mhm.
influenced by the person that you are wanting to live your life with.
Mhm. That's so good. Oh, that's so good. And when you start changing, the system will change.
Yeah. Mhm.
And so you're working so hard to get your partner to be different. But if you could just use half that energy to get yourself to be different, then the system and your partner will be different in response.
Mhm.
Like just little things, and it doesn't take as much as you're thinking. And we want you to be safe too. So we aren't trying to strip everything from you. But usually when our clients are coming to their office, into our office, they're wanting to get something that they haven't been able to get on their own.
Mhm.
So a level of closeness, a level of intimacy, a level of vulnerability, sex, right? Sex. We want you to have those things too. And we're not trying to strip your life away from you, but you are going to have to change. And I want you people to be open to change. I'd really love for people to be open to change every day in their everyday life, you know?
Mhm.
And so, what is that thing? None of us are perfect, none of us have arrived. So, what is that thing that you can start to change on a small scale? You know, is it exercise routines? Is it eating routines? Is it just shopping routines? What are those small things that you can start to change yourself? And so that you're living a lifestyle of improvement and change, of thinking about something and then implementing something so you are not stuck and you are not rigid. And so we were laughing at like old people who are still using flip phones. And so we were like, what is that about? Because the other phones are probably better for them and you could talk to them and speak to them and anything. And it's just that wanting to hold on to the old. And so, because it's safe, because it's comfortable, because it's what I know. And so, I would love everybody to just start to, in small ways, say, I'm going to try something new. And maybe take it on for, the rest of the year. Every day, I'm going to try something new. I'm going to do something new. I'm going to say something new. I'm going to read something new. But I'm not going to be stuck in my old rigid ways. So, okay. What else, ladies? I think that's a good challenge, though. But okay, go for it.
Yeah, because a lot of times too, in the work that I do with my clients, it's like we start talking about sex, but we realize that this like rigidity or anxiety, what have you, extends into their everyday life. So it's like, okay, yeah, like no wonder you can't turn your brain off, for example, during sex. You can't turn your brain off during any part of your life. So
Right?
sex be any different?
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times it's figuring out how to get to the very core, yeah, of those life habits and undoing them, and even
Yeah.
like discussing how they happen in your everyday life, so
Mm-hmm.
that then it will naturally flow into sex. Like a really cool thing I've seen is that like people will come in and sex is like a stressor, but then once we can get to the point where and build up the habits where they are actually able to be really present during sex and more flexible then,
Mm-hmm.
or spontaneous, sex then becomes like the stress reliever, because then it becomes one of the
Oh,
only times in life that they can be in the moment.
yeah. Oh, that's so good. That's so good. Okay, Jessica Renard, anything you want to
Yeah,
add?
I think what's coming up for me is one of the things that, like, uncomfortability. No one wants to be uncomfortable. And there's a reason that you sought help. It's
Yeah.
what you're doing is not working for you.
Mm-hmm.
Changing that is going to feel uncomfortable. It's going
Mm-hmm.
to feel challenging. It's going to feel hard. Like, you are probably not getting the help that you need if every time you go to the therapist, it feels warm and comfortable and accepting and safe.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's really
Because that
good.
means no one's calling you on your bullshit. No
Yeah.
one is putting a mirror up and be like, is that what you're wanting? Is that what you came
Right?
here? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
this is what you're doing to yourself. Because I can't live your life for you. I can't tell you, like, oh, do this, don't do that. Like, that's not my job. My job is to
Mm-hmm.
help you figure out what's not working for your life, provide you with some resources and options of, like, okay, what else would you like to choose? What
Yeah.
does this look like? And understanding and processing with you while that feels uncomfortable,
Yeah.
not just staying comfortable.
Right. And I want to say so many things. I think I want to say, first of all and foremost, like, we get it. Like, we get it. And we know, like, change is hard, and but you got to do it. And I know you think what you're doing is best for you, but as an expert, I'm telling you it's not. And there have been some
Or
things in
why are
my
you
life,
here? Like,
right? And I know I remember I was sitting with a mentor and she was just like, did you just say this? Because you just said this. Like, it was like in the same sentence, the two exact opposite things. And so you need a person who can hold you accountable and say, hey, what you just said is directly opposite of what you just said. Like, I understand. And we won't catch it ourselves. You have to have the outside person listening to you that has some skill and ability to be like, wait, those two things didn't add up. You just said you wanted a wonderful relationship that was full of freedom and excitement. And so therefore you're going to stay home and read a book every Friday night so that you can be who you want to be. And so like, no, they don't work. They don't go together. And so and in your mind, that will make sense and sound right. That will make sense and sound right. And because I've had it happen to me so many times where my therapist, my mentor, my friends have been like, that doesn't make sense. And it's like, but of course it made sense. And then when they say it again out loud, oh, I can see how you say that doesn't make sense. Yeah, we're wanting. And so um, making sure your life is lining up with what you want takes time, effort, paying attention to, and skill. It's the choosing the road less traveled and being intentional about it, and it does really require some intention. Okay, go ahead, Jessica.
yeah, I
Oh,
think
both of y'all want to
also,
talk. Okay,
oh,
Jessica, then
sorry.
Mary Hannah. Jessica, go
Yeah.
first. Okay.
I think it's also a certain amount of, just because you've told yourself a story that you want to be true
Mm-hmm.
doesn't mean that it's true. Like, when you're like, I like that example of, I want a life that's exciting, but I want to read my book. You probably don't actually want, you may want some of that, or you feel like that would feel better than what you do feel. But I think there's a certain amount of, like, a cow is a cow, a donkey is a donkey. Like, they are good in certain places, but you don't necessarily want to milk a donkey. They're not necessarily that's not where you're going to get your happy place. And so it's like figuring out how can we accept each other as we are and ourselves for who we are, instead of having this either societally driven or media driven or outside influence of this is who you should be. And so then constantly finding fault at who we are.
That's so good. Okay,
Yeah,
Mary Hannah.
I have also found that a lot of clients' rigidity can come from that, Jessica, of like their preconceived ideas of what sex should be and how it should go, and then actually breaking down like, well, is that what you want? Do you enjoy that? It sounds like you holding onto these ideas make you more disconnected from sex.
Mm-hmm.
Let go of them, maybe you would actually enjoy it a lot more.
Right?
And then also too, I was going to say, like, when it comes to discomfort, I love framing for my clients how like discomfort is like the goal. Like whenever they'll come in and say like, yeah, like I did the homework, but it was really uncomfortable and I don't know. And I'll go, that is awesome. How were you able to do it despite the discomfort? How are you able to like sit in that discomfort and kind of like in that way, let them know like, yeah, that's the goal.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think what everything is hard until it becomes easy. Everything's uncomfortable until it becomes comfortable, and just understanding that's the progression of life. And I always think about driving, when you're driving, especially when you learn, anytime that you learn, like your eyes have to be paying attention to something, your arms are paying attention to something, and how do we get this car to go? And then you got to do your feet. And heaven forbid you're in a stick where you got to actually get your feet and hands and eyes and everything coordinated. And it is uncomfortable at the beginning and it is scary. And depending on the road you're on, people are coming at you maybe 90 miles per hour. Like it can, and you make it through that discomfort and then you do it. And then you keep doing it. And then you're doing it so many times that now you're adding things like eating and makeup and things you shouldn't be talking on the phone. And so, like, I'll joke with my friends, like, I can only do two other things besides driving. Either I'm going to eat and talk and put on my makeup, eat and put on my makeup, but I can't do all three. And so, but that's because it's been done over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And so, if you are a person who is rigid as safe, I get that. But once you start doing freedom over and over and over and over and over again, then freedom is going to feel great as well. Then freedom will feel easy. And it's just a matter of repetition over time. So, all right, closing thoughts, ladies.
I think just asking, like, is this serving you? Asking yourself the question, is this behavior, is this method serving you? Are you okay with the outcomes of continuing this behavior? Because like I have literally told people, if you continue this, you will lose your relationship. They're not going to stay around. Like, and if you're okay with that, if you're willing to hold on to this behavior more than the relationship, that's fine. That's a choice. You can do that.
Yeah.
You know what it will cost you.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, that's a good one. It brings up a whole thing with people and their pets in the bed and their partners. Like, I'd like to sleep with you. Okay. All right. I'm not going to go there. Mary Hannah, your closing thoughts.
Yeah. There is agency and empowerment in letting some of these rigid ideas go. Like you are capable of change and it will feel so good when you realize like how much more you had in you than you ever thought. You can do it. You can absolutely do it. And it doesn't happen all at once. It happens in little baby steps. Because I know that can be a scary thing too for people experiencing rigidity, but it's like, it's the tiniest thing, just like repeated over and over a long period of time. And that's where we can really come in and help you find what is that thing, help you be accountable for it. And then before you know it, it won't even feel like you made some huge major shift. It'll just be looking back and going like, oh my gosh, me a year ago wouldn't have been able to do this at all.
Um, just get to the good part and know that you probably can't get there by yourself, that you have to have some new information in your brain, that your brain will take information and accept it as true, or that this is the best way until you get new information in there to let you know that that's not the best way. And so you need help and you need support. With it being said, it's so worth it. It's so worth it. I know it's going to be scary at the beginning, and it may feel like something is breaking internally, but it's going to be so worth it to have. I want to say this juicy, messy life that doesn't fit inside the lines. Like there's a goodness to it that I want you to have. I feel like it's like, a juicy peach, just like messy and, not sticky, but it's so good. And so I want you to enjoy that part of life. So, all right. Thank you, ladies, for spending this time with me and for educating the people of the world on rigidness. And I look forward to seeing you guys again. All right. Bye bye.